Okay, hello, welcome to today's analysis of the NQ. I'm going to do my macro video. It is Friday, the 10th of April. Start with the 12. Right. Where are we? So, last video that I made was, I think, around here, right? Around 1st of April, it's about 10 days ago. I was looking for supply to take over, which would have been this 12-hour. I was looking for this area to give me something specific. It didn't. It gave me something that I said might work. There was this candle close. You're kind of looking for liquidity grabs in that direction in order to reinforce that, right? We ended up just kind of absorbing inside this zone. And then we had this news push, right? Broke past whatever blocks that were inside here. And I did say in my video before that because this is a daily block that was mitigated. We had an 8-hour block, which we're still around, which is mitigated, that I wouldn't be taking any trades here, right? Which I didn't. It was just one big, huge gap up. What does this mean? To me, this is spelling a potential change of character on large time frame. Why? If we zoom out, I know there's a lot here, but if we just look at price itself, we came into rather deep liquidity. We did front run some areas, which left me a bit kind of annoyed. But if we look at the weekly, we had a weekly fair value gap here, which we didn't get any weekly closes below, and we got out of there like very quickly. Anyway, we took liquidity and we changed character. This was the last wash before this larger interaction. We still have the original change of character up here, right? Which we're actually hanging out around now. But as I see it, we have potential to widen this whole range up to proper supply. I was talking about the supply ages ago. I thought we might come up from here, but we seem to be coming up from here, which does have kind of different implications. The implications are volatility, I guess, when we come up there. The weight of this area to me has increased heavily. Before, if we just kind of came up, and then mitigated this zone and then dropped down to where we are, it would be different. But right now, this zone is looking like a large magnet, but also I don't know, obviously I don't know, but I don't know how well this will fare from a well-consolidated push up from this depth. We will have to see. Shorting this zone, I mean, yeah, you could if you're like swing trading with like really low leverage and for whatever reason you don't think that the high is going to be taken, I guess it could be a good entry, right? Not really how I trade though. Let's look at what we can glean from what's actually happening here. 8-hour block mitigated. We're right inside that. Honestly, I don't have any levels until up here, which is 25, 515, And then we have a block above that at 25,585. But I will need to see, because I don't have any really solid blocks here besides a monthly. Is it a monthly? There's a weekly that's around that breaker, and then there is a monthly block which we actually are just tapping at the moment. But I mean, come on, monthly blocks. Yeah, no, at that stage I'm gonna need to just see us create some nice PA inside here before I start thinking about these lower areas as potential like heavy sell side targets, honestly. Patience will be required, I think, coming up into this point. But we do have an area here. It was the last wash. There was a heavy wash here. Above that is a psychological level in my eyes. This zone here. Large vector recovery here. Can definitely come for there. Volume has been lower over the past few days or even week on this push up. We can just span this whole push, and actually the less time we spend doing this kind of thing on the way up, the better case it builds for this just being a bull trap and short squeeze. But we'll have to see. Anyway, right now I'm not shorting. I don't see many reasons to short. I'm actually in a long. I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, and I'm using these. You know, if I say a level is something that I don't really believe in, just because I have an inkling from somewhere else doesn't mean that I'm gonna try and find a way to use it, even if I don't believe in it. If I don't believe in it, there's a pretty good chance that it's, you know, not trustworthy. And so I have taken longs to target the levels I'm looking at. Now, we have money flow is interesting here. If we go to the 8 hour, I had an 8 hour money flow interest point, which is, I think, invalidated already. So I'm going for the next one, which is the 12 hour, which is up here, which is also around this level. So I mean, I see price coming up here, you know, 25,471. I think it'd be a nice liquidity pocket. We have some nice bearish VWAPs here. One from the all-time high, one from this wash. Looks like a good area. Volume gap as well there. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some just nuts wick coming into here. I have a 2 hour untapped gap area that would be nice to tap. Above that we have an 8 hour that if we tapped this like that, I don't see us we could, but if we came up this high, 26,370, I don't know. I would be a bit standoffish. So I would like to see us, if we're going to put in some kind of lower high, I would like to see it happen kind of between this point and, let's say, this point. So like this block. 26,266 is, I guess, my extreme. And then 25,520 or 550 would be around my kind of lower tolerance for a lower high. Yeah. So where are we looking with kind of macro economic stuff? Well, let's have a look at the yen. Guys, the yen, I'm waiting for the yen to do something kind of specific, which is I'm going to go to the 12 hour on the yen as well. We had this push down. Money flow wasn't looking perfect, but as I said before, money flow on the yen does seem to behave a bit differently. But we haven't gotten what I'm looking for, which is there's a 12 hour red vector here that I'm really looking for specific price action to happen. But you could also say I'm just waiting for this change of character. Right now it's doing not much. And there is really a strong chance that we just flush out heavy on the yen. We're definitely able to do that. Money flow would allow for it. We could just flush out, or even if the futures markets flushed out this low, that would be nice. But it doesn't have to, and we can gain strength around here. I'd be looking for 12-hour candle close that has taken liquidity to close above this midpoint. And kind of, change character, not just kind of like come up and then, could happen around here. But until then, the yen isn't really giving me much in terms of like usable signs, and it just hasn't been recently. Since the dollar did its since it gained strength, we go back to 12 hour, which was around here. The yen signals have been rather weak. Even big pushes like this have been rather weak. This is sizable that just happened here now, but we would have to see it continue to break down for this kind of shift to take over. But it's coming a bit more alive than it was before. I mean, you have all of these. This looks big, but like what happened here? So like we have like that's nothing. The causality here is absolutely nothing. And I waited to see, and then it just kind of came down, and it didn't really. This signal didn't really manifest. There was a lot of signals here that, even though the pushes up were big, the CTR wasn't giving me great conviction for trades. This is sizable, crossing with these two lines. We seem to be dancing, and we took external liquidity here at a point, the pass range value area low. And it's a bit precarious. If we did start breaking down here and the CTR kept this huge push up, would be also back up my long. It might be the first time in a while that price action has it has causality that from the yen that gives clear picture actually in a while since the dollar has been leading the way. It is kind of important to know that if you're using the yen as confluence, like the yen versus the dollar, if everything's kind of acting normally, then that correlation can make itself very clear, I guess. But if the dollar's just leading the way anyway, because of geopolitical events or whatever, it can be harder to interpret the carry trade risk sentiment, which is what this indicator is. I guess the carry trade can just kind of get drowned out when everything's going crazy and everyone's just rushing to dollar. And gold is just kind of creeping up. I haven't really been using gold much since it did this whole thing. I'm just gonna stick to what I do see. So macro wise, if we zoom in, okay, we're on the 45. We had this big push up, severe lack of vector recovery down here on this news push. Like there's nothing. Daily, 3-day, nothing. Where's the vector? Where's the vector? It's not there. Okay, it's on the 2 hour, but we had a 2 hour Heavy 2 hour fair value gap mitigation here. Gap tap 3 times, many times into this level, and broke structure. So I mean, coming down to 25k again at this right now would be not great in my opinion. We even had another 2 hour tap here. We tapped it once on the 2 hour time frame, and yeah, I guess we could tap that again, but it would be rather precarious. I would like to see the NQ just rush to hit offers. It would be great. We have money flow coming up between these 2 points. It's kind of a false div, really, on the higher time frames. So we did get a div here in the 45-minute, but we have China highs, here Asian high, China high not taken on the S&P or the Dow. Looking pretty good to push up. Actually, I think yeah, this looks pretty nice. So I'm in a long from around here. Waiting for this 45-minute to close. The only block that we have here that I would be kind of cautious of is this 45-minute block. Or you could say it's this 2 hour block, but I mean the actionable time frame is the 45. So I would wait for this green candle to close, and then I would like to see what we do inside it. But as I was saying, it would be really nice for the NQ to just come up and aggressively hit offers, and balance out the PA that we've been seeing for the past while. If they are just going to come up and push, let's just do it. Let's get it over with. The more chop we have around these in-between levels, the more likely it is that we're more bullish than it lets on, in my opinion. What do we have below us? Let's say we do break down. We have a 12-hour breaker that's situated on these highs of this consolidation. We have no more of these. No more past daily view ups down here. This is done. We have this, obviously, change of character point. Technically, we can come into here, yada yada, take liquidity and move up. But you know, any of these points I have down here, I wouldn't really want to see price stick around for very long. These equal lows down here raise an eyebrow, but I'm not gonna base much decisions off of it. I've been burned before by focusing in on equal lows before. So we have 2-hour block down here. Actually, I just noticed. I think it's maybe the only block. Yeah. And it is sitting above vector recovery. This would be precarious. I would almost, the last long that I would really take from hitting here is we have this like tiny untapped fair value gap. If that gets tapped and we get a huge buy up, I'd wait for a price to show me what I want and then maybe take a long off this as a catalyst, but it would be back into structure. This is just such a precarious level that breaking down past this point and even tapping this 45-minute previous fair value gap tap would be, yeah, I don't know. I would say more downside that happened. Yeah. Let's try. Is there anything else now that I've been looking at? Well, okay, yes, I've been looking at render, but let's have a look at, that was my short. Yes, I did lose that short. Well, actually, no, my short invalidation was above this block, and I had it from here. I move that up, but yes, that was failed. So the blocks, yes, we have the monthly block, vector recovery and everything up here. We're just coming back into it pretty quickly. Now, quickly can be good if we quickly get out of there. you know, I do see this area somewhere down here being the zone that's gonna be our low. I do, but with how we get there, I have no idea. I mean, yeah, fast push up and then consolidation, right? To then start breaking down to target some of these levels would be great. Don't have to. If we spend too much time up here, you know, and start kind of breaking up, I mean, sure, we could take the high. We could. But again, it's very difficult to call that. I'm going to call the levels that I see and are actionable. And right now, we have easily attainable unfinished business above us. So I am targeting that. This zone. 25. I haven't drawn one of these boxes in a while. I'd say, well, yeah, that's my macro. Big would be like up to this 8 hour would be my supply. But for right now, I'm targeting, like, honestly, here to here. Do I still have a? Oh yeah, supply zone. Supply. I would target this 25,468, 25,683. I would definitely be out by 25,683 because that's breakout territory, and I don't normally entertain that. And now zooming down to what's happening right now. Does it back it up? Yes, it does. This scared the hell out of me. It's one of those trades where I was like, so I'm in. I mean, I'm in from. Let's not jinx it, but I am in from. Show me my account, please. Here, on a few accounts. 25, 2, and 4. And it just, yeah, it kind of scared the hell out of me. It just kind of exploded. Yeah, it was right before that green vector. And this invalidated my bearish models right here. This says, yeah, it's China high, but this is also really. And also we have China highs on the other markets that need to be tapped. It is backing up the fact that it wants higher. So I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that. And I'd say my first TP would be, I think it's 25,465. Obviously, when US starts coming into the situation, if we even start just, if we take this high and we drag it out, like, sure, we could come back into structure first, I guess. I will hold one contract on this long, if I can, through US. There's also a chance that, you know, I take profits earlier. Doesn't matter. I don't have to get the long straight into my level right now. It can help me reinforce the idea of, you know, if we do break up, and then for US, which I don't trade, we keep breaking up. It's like, okay, great, then you know, I was right, and they're going towards where I want them to go, and then I'll see what they do. I mean, coming into US pre-market, maybe in an hour, we do have news. So I actually, oh yeah, I won't even be able to hold this through news. But either way, it does seem like they want higher, so I'm going with that. Yep, that's the game, isn't it? I mean, if we really start, like, if we take this high and then start doing some weird stuff here, then maybe we can retrace back into here, and then it goes like that. I don't know. But at the moment, I mean, this 45-minute OB is looking okay. We go to this. This is our 45-minute OB. We start breaking down here. You know, might not look great. But I'm looking at my models. My models right now don't show me a high probability of this being a high. Could be wrong, but they kind of hint at least even one more swipe into structure being made. So we'll see. But it's Fridays. Fridays are crazy. Fridays just do what they want. So, okay. Anyway, drifted a bit from macro there. You have my macro outlook. My little day trade doesn't have to jump straight to the macro situation, obviously. Sorry, this will be cleaner, relatively. You have my macro situation. I'll clean this chart up, and give it to you. So you might be able to help. Yeah. Okay. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, happy trading. Have a good weekend.